Today on the channel, we have the Weird Noise Death Spiral. Massive thanks to Weird Noise for sending me the Death Spiral and these 3D glasses, which come with it. All right, so what we have here is a very wild delay / distortion fuzz pedal based on the PT2399 chip. If you've been subscribed for a minute, you know how much I love that platform. It's one of my favorite delay platforms, and it's also something that builders use for like distortion circuits too, and it's just such a rad bass of a pedal. And this thing does all the gritty, super artifacty, lo-fi stuff that you want. Plus it gets like really intense, really aggressive. It's just a very cool approach to this platform. For controls, we have volume, which will control the overall output of the pedal while it's on. Next, we have delay, which will control the level of the delay signal. We have gain, which will add gain to both the dry and wet signal of the pedal. Filter is a slightly resonant low-pass filter, and you can use this to filter out some of the hiss or artifacting, or you can roll it back and let all that stuff come through, which both really have an awesome place in this pedal. We have two LFOs here. The first one is an IC-based control, and that'll be the speed of which will be controlled here with LFO1. LFO2 is a transistor-based optical LFO, and that'll be controlled by LFO2. Depth will control the depth of the LFOs, but it's super interactive with the LFO controls as well as everything else. So, it's not going to function. You're not necessarily going to predict exactly how it's functioning, but it's super interactive, which makes very fun and like a deep pedal. Feedback will control the amount of repeats on the delay line, and it's also very interactive with everything else, like the gain and the LFOs and the filter section especially. Then we have time, which will control the length of the repeats, clockwise for longer repeats, counterclockwise for less. And that can also be controlled via the expression jack. Then we have a toggle at the center of the pedal. In the downward position, we're just using the LFO1, and the up position, we're using both. And for today's demo, I'm using my 1989 Orville by Gibson ES-335, and this has Tyson Tone Deacon pickups. And from there, we'll be going into the Universal Audio Apollo X6, and then into the Softube JMP 2203 amp plugin. All right, so first up, we're going to start with the Model FET from Electronic Audio Experiments. I have a full demo of this pedal, which is actually my first demo. You can click the link right here. You can check that out. And that will be going into the Death Spiral. And here we're going to have the volume around 5 o'clock, the delay at 2. We're not using LFO2. We're going to have LFO1 almost maxed, and feedback around 11. We're going to have the gain off. We'll have the filter around 3 o'clock. The toggle will be in the 1 position. The depth will be around 1 or 2, and the time will be around 10 o'clock. That will be feeding into the Avalanche Run V2 from Earthquaker Devices. And in the middle of the clip, we're going to be engaging the Old Blood Noise Endeavor's expression ramper to modulate the time control of the Death Spiral. All right, so what we have here is a super gritty delay. It starts, pretty standard as far as delays go, except for the fact that it's, full of artifacts and, junk and lo-fi goodness. It's just the PT2399 gets very chewy, and it has this particular sound when pushed really hard. So even at lower delay times, you just get a very dirty, awesome sounding delay. Midway through, I'm going to engage the expression ramper, and here's really cool. We're going to kind of oscillate between two sounds in like a square wave setting, or two times rather. And you get this kind of rhythmic chirp that is super musical. It just really kind of broadens how much you can do with this pedal. One way to use a delay pedal is just to add space or to make things seem, bigger or a little more exciting because those notes are repeating. And then another way to do it is use it rhythmically. Standard fare with rhythmic delays is just to, kind of play off of the repeats. But here, not only are we doing that, but we get this, like I said, chirp that just adds so much. It's like having another instrument present while you're playing. It's so awesome. And the death spiral is dynamic as well. So when you dig in harder, it will drive the pedal harder, and that sometimes can change the delay or how the LFO interacts with it. Such a rad sound. Enjoy. All right, in this next clip, we're still starting with the model FET, and now we'll go into the death spiral. And here we're going for a much more modulated delay. So we'll have the volume, same position around 5 o'clock. The delay will be just past 3. The LFO 2 will be at 11. LFO 1 will be at 2. Feedback will be almost maxed. Gain is going to start in the off position. Filter is going to be all the way off. We're going to be in the up position on the toggle, so we're using both LFOs. Depth will be around 10, and time will be at 3. Towards the end of the clip, I'm going to move both the gain knob and the feedback knob to noon. So when we start, it's like a very haunting delay. The way the modulation works, it just adds like a movement that's really, really pleasing. And like I said before, it's a very musical sound. So it doesn't feel like it's on a loop or just like a steady rhythm. It feels much more organic than that. And because the feedback knob is so interactive with everything else, we're not going to self-oscillate here. This pedal can, but it's not going to happen here. But it's like on the verge of it happening, which is always a sound I love. Later on, we're going to boost the gain, drop back the feedback so it doesn't freak out, and it just gets real hairy. All that distortion plus the delay almost feedbacking and the modulation, there's this kind of cacophony of aggressive and weird and amazing sounds. But through all of that, you can still hear what I'm playing. There's a clarity and a punchiness and a roundness to the actual guitar tone coming through. It's just balanced so well. That's why I say when this pedal is very musical, well, it can make a ton of noise and get, ambient or trashy. It still is pleasant to listen to, and it's still adding something to the sound other than just noise. Such a great sound. All right, in this last clip, we're going to do something a little different. So we're still going to start with the model FET for a little bit of drive. It's going to be set, fairly clean, but we're going to start in the neck position of the 335 with the volume rolled back. So I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then I'll switch to the bridge. It'll be full out, and you'll hear a lot of gain because we're going to run the death spiral with the gain maxed. The volume's in the same position around 5 o'clock. The delay will be around 11. We're not using LFO2, so set to whatever you like. The LFO1 will be almost 3 o'clock. We're going to roll the feedback all the way off. We're going to have the gain max, like I said. Filter will be just below noon. The switch is in the down position. We're going to have the depth around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then we're rolling the time back as well. So here we get a super short delay time, almost like a slapback, but with a lot of modulation. So it sounds almost like there's a second guitar that's heavily modulated or is, with a lot of vibrato or tape warble. And this is a really cool example of not only how well the distortion in the death spiral cleans up, but how you can use your volume to change the sound and the feel of whatever you're playing. So we start a little softer, a little lighter, go full volume on the bridge pickup, and then it's just so aggressive, chaotic. If you've been on the channel for a bit, you know that I love a distorted sound with some slapback delay. That is just a sound I adore. And here, because of the LFO, it just makes it that much more exciting. This is such a cool sound. It's aggressive and fun and musical and interesting. There's so much character of what's going on here, and you still get a bit of the noise, but because of how tight it is, there's almost like a flanging effect. So awesome. So enjoy. All right, and that'll do it for the Death Spiral from Weird Noise. This is the first pedal I've played from them, and I'm a huge fan. This thing is super cool. The PT2399 platform is a very famous platform for good reason, and it's crazy to see how much is left to discover with it. Everybody does their own take on it and comes up with something new, and this is cool and new and fun, and you get 3D glasses. So I dig it. If you dig it too, click the links in the description below, get all the information there. You can also get links to my info down there, everything else I'm using in the video as well. If you dig the content, please consider hitting subscribe, like, share, comment. Those things help me out, and I truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace.